Right, the sun's just setting in literally 5 minutes, so I've come to the woodlands, which is quite dark in there. So I'm going to do some low light tests with the Action 5. On the Action 5 Pro, it's got a super night mode. So what I'm going to do is film a normal 4K 30 clip, and then I'm going to switch to the super night mode, film in 4K 30, and then do a side-by-side comparison so you can just see the difference. Here we go. Right, now I'm filming on the Action 5 Pro. This is 4K 30, rock steady enabled, and I'm in standard dewarp. I'll just flip it round. So this is what it looks like at 4K 30 in normal mode, and I'm going to do the same walk but switching to super night mode. Here we go. Right, now I've switched over to the new super night mode on the Action 5. I'm in 4K 30, rock steady enabled, and filming in standard dewarp. And spin that round. So I'll put the side-by-side comparison up to see what you think. Straight away I can see on the OLED screens that it's a lot brighter than the standard mode. And now I'm filming at 4K 30 in normal mode, rock steady enabled, standard dewarp. Spin it round. There's not much light penetrating the canopy at the minute, as the sun's, I would say, almost set. So now let's switch to super night mode. So now I've switched to the super night mode, 4K 30, rock steady enabled, standard dewarp. Turn it round. And I can see on the OLED screen, which is facing me, I'm a lot brighter than on the standard mode. Again, I'll put a side-by-side comparison and see what you think. So now this is the super night mode again, and this is where you see Bigfoot stalking me. I shouldn't say that in woods because it is pretty creepy at this time. As you can see, there's not much light around now. So let's get out of here. Again, I'm in super night mode filming this, 4K 30 again. Just keep in mind, don't take these cameras in a really almost pitch black scenario, because it is only a 1/1.3 sensor. Although it's the next generation, it's not a 1-inch sensor or micro four thirds, so it's a really small sensor in there. But it is going to be good to see these tests, especially side by side, to see what that next generation chip can do. So this is in super night mode, just travelling up this country road. I'm now going to switch over to normal filming mode. Again, everything's in 4K 30, and we'll do a side by side comparison. This is filming in normal mode now at 4K 30 with rock stable enabled. Again, I'll chuck a side by side comparison up of this driving footage just to see how that compares. So Bigfoot's not going to come out at woods, they'll not come where civilization is, so that's a bonus. So now we're in a low light situation on the streets. As you can see, the street lamps are on. So now I'm filming at 4K 30 in standard mode, rock steady enabled, standard dewarp. And now let's switch to the super night mode. And now we're filming in the super night mode, 4K 30, rock steady enabled, standard dewarp. I'm not going to repeat all them again. Let's put a side-by-side comparison so you can compare the normal filming mode to the super night mode. This has got low light in it, so let's try this area. So now I'm walking down this dark alley, and as you can see, this is the normal filming footage. Again, 4K 30 rock steady enabled, and now I'm going to backtrack and walk the same route. See, we're just a bit darker in that area then, because it's a bit lighter now. So I'm going to walk the same route with the super night mode enabled. And now I've enabled the super night mode, 4K 30 rock steady enabled. This is the darkest bit just here. and I can see on the OLED screen that that's a lot brighter than filming in the normal mode. Again, put a side-by-side comparison up. Let's just see. So I'm filming in normal filming mode, 4K 30, rocksteady enabled, standard dewarp. And now we're filming with a super night mode enabled, 4K 30, rocksteady enabled, standard dewarp. Again, let's put a side-by-side comparison up. Filming in normal mode, by the way. So just want to keep in mind, these are action cameras. They're not really micro four thirds sensors like I've said before, or your 1-inch sensors, which is on your Pocket 3. So as you've probably seen from the footage, when you're filming in low light with the street lamps on, it gets really mushy, the footage, almost as it's falling to pieces, it can't cope. And there's two reasons it's doing that. One, because it's a small 1/1.3 sensor, although it's the new next generation with the Action 5 Pro. They're just really not made for low light environments. But the reason I'm doing this test is because we've got the new feature, the Super Night mode on the Action 5 Pro, so it's great to do a side-by-side comparison. So the reason it's falling to pieces, the footage, is because it's not only got a small size sensor. When you enable Rocksteady and Rocksteady Plus, that camera's working tenfold to try and not only stabilise that footage, but to handle the low light. So just out of interest, I've deactivated all stabilisation. As you can probably see as I'm walking, it'll be shaking a little bit. Now that's going to help the sensor out massively, because when you enable the Rocksteady, the camera is basically trying to keep the footage stable. At the same time, it's trying to sort that low light out, so it's working double time. So now I've deactivated the stabilisation, the footage shouldn't be as grainy. So I'll carry on walking with this footage not being stable, but it shouldn't be as grainy as when the Rocksteady is enabled. And now I'll do the same test with Super Night mode enabled and also deactivate the stabilisation. And now this is Super Night mode, all stabilisation deactivated. So what's the footage look like now? It's a bit dark and gloomy where I am right now. I keep saying this, but it just looks complete daylight with this OLED screen. But it's definitely a lot darker now. So with that image stabilisation deactivated, does that give a better quality image? Let's chuck a side by side up and compare that. And now this is walking in normal filming mode, all stabilisation deactivated, 4K 30 standard dewarp. And now let's switch over to Super Night mode in the same settings. And now I've switched over to Super Night mode, all stabilisation deactivated, 4K 30 standard dewarp. Put the side-by-side comparison up, and let's see if that image quality is a lot better now the stabilisation is deactivated. Super Night mode Rocksteady enabled. So now I've reached the end of the video, and I think you can agree I've put this new 1/1.3 sensor thoroughly through its paces with these low light tests today. So as always, thanks for watching, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and bye for now.